Hey guys, what's up? Don't answer that, that was rhetorical. I'm Marwan Ashra. Today we're going to see the African landscape and a little country that lost their chances to be in the World Cup, Ghana. The history of Ghana, to be precise, which is far more interesting than what it is today. See this desert next to me? Well, of course you can. It's the largest desert in the world. It's the one and only Sahara. So the Sahara measures 3.5 million square miles. Let me take you back in time. So in ancient times, like about 8,000 years ago, this desert used to be covered with rivers, trees, and grasslands. Then 6,000 years ago, it began to become drier and drier, and travel and trade became more difficult. Let's go a little closer to the present. 2,000 years ago, they began to use camels instead of horses. They used camels because apparently they are the ship of the desert. Which is true because they don't have to drink water for 3 days. That was a ride. Enough of that desert. Let's move on to vegetation zones. There are four main vegetation zones in Africa. It's the desert, savanna, rainforest, and the Mediterranean. I already talked about the desert, so let's move on to the rainforest. So the rainforest is mostly common along the equator, and it is hot and wet year round. So terrible thing has happened. Some of these rainforests have been cut down to make place for lands, and towns, and cities. Moving on to the savanna. So the savanna is a broad grassland with scattered trees. Uh, um, some savannas have herds of animals such as giraffe, antelope, and cattle, sheep, and horses. Savannas are common north and south of the equator, and they have dry and wet seasons. Then, at the northern tip of Africa is the Mediterranean zone. There, summers are warm and dry, and winters are rainy and cold. Got it. Moving on to natural resources. So natural resources are natural materials that people use to meet their needs. Some examples of natural materials are water, trees, gold, copper, and salt. Some of them made valuable trade items like gold and salt, which resulted into the gold-salt trade. Trade brought Africans into contact with one another and with people and ideas from other parts of the world. Now we will have a short break with an interview with a very own bucket of sand from the Sahara Desert. So, Mr. Bucket, you are from the Sahara Desert, correct?
Yes, Mr. Marwan, I am from the Sahara
So, Mr.
Desert.
Bucket, one of the most frequently complained complaints is that you are so dry. So I have to ask the question, why are you so dry?
Well, Mr. Marwan, I am dry for several reasons. For one, I am from the largest desert in the world, so I'm going to be hot. It's just how nature works, okay? And also, my climate is hot and dry, so it's natural that I'm going to be warm and hot.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bucket. Goodbye. We finished the vegetation zones. Let's move on to the two most important rivers in West Africa, the Niger and Senegal rivers. Early civilizations formed near these rivers. Because West Africa was a dry region, these two rivers provided people with a reliable source of water. So, for example, a farmer could grow crops even with low rainfall. People used the rivers to travel and trade. Now let's move on to the important stuff. The rise of Ghana. So by 350 BCE, West African traders began to make iron tools in a place called Nok. Iron was much harder than other materials. With the help of iron tools, the people of West Africa could grow more food. As food supplies grew, the population rose. Iron working technology then spread out throughout West and Central Africa. As the population of West Africa grew, governments were made to keep order. By 300 CE, the Senenc people founded a kingdom between the Niger and Senegal rivers, and this was finally known as the Kingdom of Ghana. As food supplies grew, not everyone had to grow food. Some could become experts in things like government or crafts. The division of skills in a society is called labor specialization. In Ghana, families were very important. Each clan specialized in a craft or trade. The Senenc people benefited from the use of iron. They had iron swords and spears, while their enemies still used wooden clubs. Ghana eventually grew into an empire. Like many ancient empires, Ghana enslaved people in wars of conquest. They traded slaves for salt and other goods offered by Berber merchants. By 700 CE, Arab African traders traded things like salt, horses, cloth, swords, and books for gold and ivory. Because Ghana was located across trade routes. Kings of Ghana grew rich from the gold salt trade. They taxed gold producers on every load of goods that entered or left Ghana. Ghana's rulers also controlled the gold supply. They knew that if the supply grew too large, its price would fall, so they kept it high. Like every other civilization, Ghana was invaded and then eventually declined. For centuries, Ghana prospered. Its rulers welcomed North African traders, which spread Islam to West Africa. Ghana still kept its traditional religions, but welcomed other religions as well. However, Ghana eventually began to decline. Some of the reasons are overpopulation, famine, and an overdependence on trade. To make things worse for Ghana, the Almoravids, a group of Berbers from northwest Africa, expanded their empire into Ghana. They invaded Ghana because they wanted greater control of the gold trade. Although the Almoravid invasion failed in the end, it disrupted trade and weakened the kingdom. Soon, Ghana had trouble supporting its population, and Ghana never returned to its prosperity after the Almoravid invasion. So sad. So sad. Before we go, we have one more thing. Our open letter. We will send a letter to the Senenc people. Dear Senenc people, guys, I love my Facebook, my computer, and my iPad. But if I had to go to the past and to be someone, it would be one of you guys. Because you were these great people that founded one of the greatest kingdoms that were rich in gold and were good traders. And I'm so jealous because you were these awesome people. Best wishes, Marwan Ash.